I was the delicate rapper from Philly, and he was Pop Correct Pop came in the studio distraught, or something about Jada advising him to let will be up, he would be my companion, yet for what seems like forever. She could have my one heart, my liver, my lungs. The Smith family apparently can't get a break after the trick that will pulled on the global phase of the Oscars. His generally obliterated picture has plunged considerably more, as of late this scandalous Suge night uncovered that there was some ill will among Tupac and Will, and it got to the place where Will's life was additionally in extraordinary peril. Yikes. Seems to be Will's profoundly engaged with this on the grounds that the web is going crazy after this disclosure. Hold tight, close folks, cause we have all the deets for you, so how about we get into it? We, as a whole expertise, broken Jada Pinkett's marriage with Will Smith is correct. Well, the word on the road is that the phantom of Tupac actually chases the couple right up. Till now, this mystery circle of drama began when Jada began dating Will Smith, also known as the new ruler. During the 1990s, Tupac and Jada were secondary school companions and imparted a hallowed attach to one another, and their healthy relationship was unfortunately cut off after Tupac was killed in a hit-and-run assault. This terrible misfortune was wild for Jada. It was exceptionally difficult for her to continue on in an old meeting just after her perfect partner's demise. Jada fell to pieces on live television while recollecting their time together. That was a gigantic misfortune. I truly accepted that he would have been here, yet their profound security continued as before, even after the misfortune, as Jada kept him alive in her heart. How about we move the conspicuous that Scar didn't endorse Will Smith dating Jada, period. He detested the relationship, such a lot of that he condemned Will in his music. And we realize that music portrays the most profound longings of a creative man faultlessly. I was the delicate rapper from Philly, and he was Pop Correct this tune about doing nothing. I realize right. Precisely. Seems as though Tupac knew Will Smith was not the one who could fulfill his Jada for the start. While he was alive, Tupac had been extremely vocal about his adoration for Jada. He respected her. The everyone's eyes on me craftsman was asked how much his companionship was Pinkett Smith means to him in the narrative restoration. And keeping in mind that Grinning the rapper answered that Pinkett Smith has his heart and can have anything she desires. You will be my companion in the event that I hold for what seems like forever. She can have my one heart, my liver, my lungs. That Jada was all more than mindful of how defensive POC was over her, and was good. He was desirous of Will Smith. In a red casual conversation meeting, the nutty teacher entertainer said that her companion didn't need her playing with any other person for him. It was we were an anchor for one another. Whenever he experienced that outrage was compromised. Wow. Will Smith was more mindful of the profundity of the relationship. In a meeting, the morning meal club, Will Smith conceded that he was exceptionally envious of the security, that those two common. He wished Jada would take a gander at him, the manner in which she took a gander at Tupac. Yet she simply cherished him like he was the picture of flawlessness. Yet she was with the new sovereign, so it resembled I never could like. So all along, Will was intimidated by Park. He personally admitted that despite the fact that Jada had guaranteed him on a few events that he was basically the same as POC, he didn't have the guts to address him in a real sense in any event. When they were in similar room, we were in a room 2 or multiple times, I was unable to address him. And you realize he won't address me on the off chance that I won't address him. Just I wasn't man to the point of dealing with that relationship in this drive to become showbiz royalty. For somebody to be comparable to Tupac will begin to go head-on into work. Sole inspiration was to cover his own uncertainties with his expert abilities. He needed to be viewed as a top dog as opposed to a side person in his own life. When I began, I had this large number of great desires of what I needed to be and what I needed to do. And you realize I need to be the greatest celebrity on the planet, despite the fact that Smith became famous and made a name in the business. he neglected to focus on what was significant, yet, in spite of his endeavors, Tupac didn't lose his spot in Jada's life. The word on the road is that Suge Knight was tight with Tupac, the street pharmacist, was put resources into Tupac's music business, and was making sweltering bucks in any event. When the East and West Coast quarrel was seething on now, we definitely realized that Suge Knight isn't a companion one ought to keep on great days, substantially less as a foe ought to knew Tupac was in awful relations with Will, yet he maneuvered Mark toward giving his arrangements over to leave a mark on Will's profession. We understand what you may be considering. What did Shove get from halting Tupac to screw with Will? Well, here's a clue of forthcoming genius with no spine to help him. And you rule underground work. The cherry on the top is that your companion has proactively curbed him, so you can undoubtedly coerce some great cash from him, since why? Not cash never harms anyone, right? Yet should disregarded a small detail that Will was likewise from suburbia, so he was more than familiar with the roadway of life. I want a shaper that Will Smith business, yet since Will was coming from West Philly, he was no more bizarre to viciousness. Thus he overlooked Suge. Somewhat not a single one of us convey firearms in Philly. We all convey firearms in LA, yet that didn't stop Suge. So he sent more messages Anita Carter that Will Smith business presumably answer Will confused in the blend, and had his legal counselor figure out things with Suge. Obviously Suge concluded it was not worth a problem regardless, and chilled out, yet things got worse as anticipated. Jada some way or another got wind of what was happening, so she called Tupac and immovably chastised him for harming her sweetheart. Tupac felt that like a blow in the stomach, since he was playing he in no way wanted to do so, and he expected his perfect partner to know that. Yet Jesus' allegations made Tupac exceptionally furious. Even Napoleon, a nearby colleague, knew about his feelings. He was extremely vexed. You understand what I mean? You realize a pot came in the room. He resembles Jada. She going to reach me and tell me don't never really Will Smith. So Tupac, the focal point of the hip jump industry, was profoundly exasperated by Jada's unforgiving remarks. Yet fans have their own interpretation of the circumstance. Avomaniacs generally make a greater arrangement about themselves, and Jada is certainly an egotist. I genuinely don't think she told Tupac to not thump up Will Smith, since she figured he would. She said it since she was locating, which is something egotists do to screw with individuals and hold them powerless to resist them. That, and to her, she was such a fantastic catch that she expected that men overall would, in a real sense, battle about her. The two men ought to never have cared much about her, yet narcs are exceptionally enchanting, and they realize exactly what buttons to push on individuals. One thing is without a doubt, Jada didn't move past Tupac by any stretch of the imagination, and took it out on Will. She in a real sense pushed him around anyway. She needed to wear that man in a